All right, yo, we got some Dr. Insanity. We got cops discover car filled with serial thrillers victims. The car filled with them, so they all look. It's about to be a good one, man. We hope y'all had a good day, good night, wherever y'all may be, man. It's time to kick back and
Time
chill.
to get back, get your snacks, and get ready.
Let's get it, man.
This video is brought to you by Simply Safe. There's no safe like Simply Safe. Police just arrived at an airport parking lot to investigate reports of an abandoned truck. Initially, it seemed like just another routine call with nothing unusual. But that's when it hit them. Inside the truck lay 4 brutalized and dismembered bodies hidden inside boxes.
4.
What officers didn't know at the time is that 11 more bodies lay buried and hidden in remote areas of the state. An active, twisted serial killer was on the loose, and detectives were already months behind.
Damn.
Oh, wow.
That's the serial. Right there.
Yes.
That type. You fool. Let's see what's going on with Carl.
Was on the loose, and detectives were already months behind.
Remember the last time you saw him? Maybe a couple of months ago.
We don't care about anything else other than finding Mac, Jeff, and Jesse. Whoever did that is our focus.
I tied everything together yesterday when he did that. You know what I mean? Like, I know we lost it 3, man. I know we did.
Taking these other 11, did you take them all to the same place? If you ever came back out to New Mexico, would you be willing to take us?
It started on a Sunday afternoon when police in Grants, New Mexico received a mysterious call. A landlord had just discovered something he described as disturbing while cleaning out an evicted tenant's home. Officers immediately headed to the address to investigate.
This guy hasn't paid us since July, but with COVID going on, we couldn't evict him, so we've had nothing but problems with him. Anyways, we finally got him to move out, so we seen him today. We haven't come by, we haven't messed with him. Hopefully that's kick his ass, you know. When I came by, he says, I'm gonna leave you a pile to throw. Well, we didn't know which pile, so we started to load it up. While we were moving some things, and we found this puppy in this box underneath some of the kid stuff, you know. Okay. So we go to put the puppy in the bag because we were going to bury it, and then we see that they had tied a cord on its neck. Okay. Well, we've had, like I said, nothing but problems with these guys, so I at least want to put a report on file. I know we won't be able to say who did it and when, but that needs to be associated with him, you know, because we're going to take him to court for a lot of other things, and if I can just have that on file, it'll help. Okay.
It was clear the puppy had suffered a horrific death. Animal control arrived.
That's one thing I don't like. I don't like people do crazy and harmful things to animals. I'm an animal lover. We both are.
Yeah, we both are animal lovers, too.
I know some of y'all animal lovers. Y'all animal lovers, man, get down in that comment section. Let us know.
Shortly afterwards, the puppy had suffered a horrific death. Animal control arrived shortly afterwards and confirmed it had been deliberately tortured, noting a cord tied tightly around its neck. The cruelty of the scene was deeply unsettling, and the officer immediately recognized they were dealing with someone truly twisted.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Psychopath.
That's just sad. That right there just really got me. It's like, that's not cool at all.
No. Absolutely. Cruel, awful people.
Yeah, we tried to get in, the landlord, the owner, we tried to go into the house. They went in, they painted everything, their own colors, and they just ruined everything.
Unfortunately for investigators, the puppy was just the first body. And in the coming days, police would uncover more gruesome scenes, strange disappearances, and disturbing evidence pointing to something far more calculated than anyone expected. That same day, Detective Robert Turney was assigned a missing persons case involving 19-year-old Matthew Miller. Matthew's grandmother had called 911 a couple of days earlier, worried because she hadn't seen or heard from him in nearly a week. It turned out police were already familiar with Matthew and knew he had previously struggled with substance abuse, so initially they assumed his disappearance was drug-related. Maybe he overdosed somewhere. But Matthew's family insisted something was different this time and urgently requested to speak with detectives. Trusting their instincts, Detective Turney decided to visit Matthew's grandmother, where he would discover some unsettling new possibilities.
So you guys can help me out by just calling around to hospitals, clinics, rehabilitation places, other county jails, and just see if he's there. So prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Okay. But I will tell you, I had more than enough to arrest Matthew several times, and he's not one of those people that I wanted to arrest. Matthew's not going to pull a gun on anybody, right? To get his drugs.
Yeah, no.
He's not that kind of person.
Yes, that's my main fear.
And he probably has a little bit of a complex because he knows he's that kind of person. And so he can be real hesitant to reach out and tell you guys the actual truth about this person took advantage of me.
Yeah, no, he
So just forgive him. All you can do is tell him you love him and you forgive him and go from there.
After rehashing some information with Matthew's family, Detective Turney would go on to learn some critical details. Matthew's girlfriend told the family she saw him getting into a vehicle with several other people, including a blonde woman named Jennifer Lannon, someone Matthew had recently been spending time with. He also learned that Matthew often spent time with a close friend named Justin Mata and his girlfriend, Leonie Calzada. All three were known to use drugs together. Acting quickly on these promising new leads, police began searching locations Matthew was known to frequent, and soon enough, they located Matthew's Chevy Colorado truck parked and seemingly abandoned within a few blocks away from Leonie and Justin's residence. The truck was dirty, locked, and appeared to have been parked there for several days. Inside, detectives found clothing and personal belongings, as well as several unsettling items including a pair of rubber gloves and a shovel lying in the truck's bed. They also found multiple cell phones that were damaged in the front and back seats. It seemed clear Matthew hadn't intended to leave the truck there, and detectives sensed something wasn't right. Immediately, investigators canvassed the area and found surveillance cameras nearby, one of which captured Matthew's truck arriving at Leonie and Justin's address on January 26th, just 3 days before Matthew was reported missing. With these new alarming discoveries, Detective Turney knew the next logical step was to urgently speak with Matthew's friends, Justin Mata and Leonie Calzada, hoping they could shed some light on the situation. However, when they arrived at the couple's residence, they would quickly realize Matthew wasn't the only one missing.
Boy.
No, just you? You sure? Okay, we come in? Hey, guys. Hi, Robert.
He's gone.
You gone?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Leonie Calzada, the girlfriend of Matthew's close friend, Justin Mata, and someone detectives suspected might know exactly what happened to Matthew.
This is very, very important. We're looking for Matthew Miller. He's been missing for over 2 weeks. When was the last time he was here?
Maybe a year ago?
A year ago.
When I first got this place, yeah. When I first got it, last January.
He hasn't been here since then.
I know,
Okay.
but I don't.
What if I got video of his vehicle?
But he's just been talking here, man. When I had myself.
Okay. When was the last time you saw him here?
When he was in the place, once you remember, I first got this place.
A year ago? You think Justin would have,
He would have, yeah, probably.
when you weren't here?
I wouldn't be or something. Because they said all that, yeah. But he left on 17th and came back. And then
17th, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, and then I went to talk to the guy in Keaton. He's like, yeah, they left each other. They're during the night and they're in their room.
Do you have any kind of way to contact Justin? You have a phone number?
No, he left him, him to go.
What's his phone number? Email,
He
Facebook?
took my phone account. So Trên my phone, yeah. Tôi có anh.
When's the last time you had any communication?
Last thing he said to my coach, so I'm going coach.
What I would like to do, alright, is look around your house for any kind of evidence of Matthew Miller or any kind of foul play. I'm not looking for anything other than that.
According to Leonie, her boyfriend, Justin, had also mysteriously vanished, and she hadn't seen him since January 17th, nearly 2 weeks before Matthew was even reported missing. But investigators knew something wasn't adding up when Leonie insisted she hadn't seen Matthew in nearly a year. Surveillance footage clearly showed Matthew's truck outside her residence just days before he disappeared. With their suspicion mounting, detectives decided to search Leonie's home, hoping to uncover whether she might be hiding something. Or someone.
Did you notice anything strange that happened around here? Did you notice anything different around here? Like something was any kind of blood?
Damn, that house jumped.
Needles?
Yeah, nasty.
What about needles or pills or anything like that?
Nah, people can live like that.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Okay. We only find one person dead in a trunk per year. That's my max.
Despite their best efforts, investigators found no signs of foul play or violence. Still, Detective Turney couldn't shake the feeling that something was overlooked, so he returned to speak briefly with Leonie, unaware she'd drop a crucial clue.
Arizona.
Yeah, June 10th.
As of the 17th of...
He left this in his life.
Leonie revealed that Justin had recently taken off with another woman named Jennifer, supposedly heading to Arizona to re-up on drugs and make some money. With this new detail, Detective Turney now found himself investigating the disappearances of 3 different people: Matthew Miller, Justin Mata, and now, potentially, Jennifer. Not yet aware just how closely connected these cases really were. So to move forward, Turney quickly looked into Jennifer and discovered she had recently been reported missing by her ex-husband, Sean Lannon. That name sounded familiar to Detective Turney, because just days earlier, officers had responded to a disturbing call at 817 Kingman Avenue, the same property where the remains of a tortured puppy had been uncovered. And the tenants evicted from that very house, Sean and Jennifer Lannon. Finally, investigators were starting to connect the dots. 3 people, all closely linked through drugs and personal relationships, had vanished within days of each other. Detective Turney realized it was time to canvass the neighborhood surrounding Sean and Jennifer's former home, hoping a neighbor might have seen something suspicious or could offer the lead they desperately needed. That's when they found a neighbor whose security camera was pointed directly at Sean and Jennifer's old residence, and what the investigators saw on the footage would finally bring some much-needed clarity to their case. Without this neighbor's camera, detectives might have hit another frustrating dead end. On January 26th, Matthew is seen entering Sean's home, but investigators never see him leave. Hours later, Sean is spotted on camera driving away in Matthew's truck, and when he returns, he's alone, on foot, and Matthew is nowhere to be seen.
So that's why they
2 days later, on January 28th, the same camera recorded someone loading household items into a red Dodge Dakota parked outside the residence and driving away. This CCTV footage marked a critical turning point for investigators. For the first time, detectives had visual proof of Matthew at Jennifer and Sean's residence. With this significant new lead, the next step was clear. Detective Turney needed to speak directly to Sean. Only his account could clarify what happened that day and potentially reveal crucial details about the missing trio. The next morning, Detective Turney reached out to Sean and agreed to sit down for a formal interview. Whatever Sean said next had the potential to shift the direction of this case completely.
So, first things first, let's get her into this missing. Okay? Have you ever seen Matthew Miller, you know what I'm talking about? Is he over John? And I think his death and I think a fourth and third. Was his truck ever parked at your house for more than like a day, overnight? I'm not sure. Have you ever driven this truck? You've driven this truck? When was the last time you drove his truck? A couple weeks ago. A couple of weeks ago? So, again, when did you find out that they split and took off to Arizona and ran away together or whatever? It was 7 weeks ago. Came back. Did you have anything to do with Jennifer's disappearance, Matthew's disappearance? Do you think something bad happened to Matthew and Jennifer?
I know Jennifer drove me to what used to be. She came back with more bills than I could imagine when we fight with her. She loved those.
Man, I just get a really, really bad feeling about all this. You don't?
I do.
You don't seem...
I've been living in this circle for a minute.
Has she ever done this before?
Yeah.
During the interview, Detective Turney notices something strange. Sean remains unnervingly calm.
Right.
Especially considering his ex-wife and the mother of his 3 young children has just vanished. Turney begins to question whether Sean is simply a bystander caught up in a tragic situation, or if he knows more than he's letting on.
Oh, he might be the cold-blooded.
The next day, Detective Turney would get his answer, as police received an unexpected call from a man named Josh Hall. Josh was an acquaintance of Matthew Miller and claimed he'd recently witnessed something that deeply concerned him, directly related to the strange disappearances. Investigators quickly arranged for a meeting with Josh, hoping his account would finally provide the breakthrough they were looking for.
Hey man, what's going on with Matthew, man? That's my chick's cousin. Check this out, man. Check this out.
Follow me.
Check this out, man. Yesterday.
Alright. Was that Kelly? Like Sean told me to go talk to you. And I guess he had to go talk to you or something. Talk to the cops. He goes, hey, Kelly's like in the garage, stashed stuff back, concealing. Gun, jacked his wife's IDs, clothes, letters. Everything, just stashes it there. Says he had to go talk to the cops. I was there. I was in there. Sean killed all 3 of them, man. I'm telling you, he murdered all 3 of them people, man. He's putting it off on Martha that he ran off and everything. Why you know? Yes, I don't know, man. Kelly's like my sister. I know all it, you know. God killed all 3. I know he did, man. I know he did. He did, man. I'm telling you. Come on, they find a truck right by his house. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. Was on a trip or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, Martha was keeping his chick. Martha was there. He's a smart man. He's good. Look how long they've been missing for. He just barely reported his wife missing. His wife's been missing since like the 23rd. Since last month, you know what I mean? She's been missing the same time Matt's been missing. And after he left and everything, went to go talk to you, Kelly went in there, opened that everything, strap, her IDs, some personal of hers, some clothes, and I don't know what she did with it. She weighed out. I had her with me the whole time. She was stripping her. Oh. And then Danny Limos took off with it. Danny Limos took the gun. Took the shot. What vehicle was it? Danny walking. Walking? That he was walking. I'm telling you, man, he said to me, that's how I tied everything together yesterday when he did that. You know what I mean? Like, I know we lost the 3, man.
Josh claims that Sean arrived at the residence of a woman named Kelly DeSoto, carrying a bag he carefully hid in the ceiling of her home before leaving to speak with detectives at the police station. After Sean left, Kelly discovered the hidden bag, removed a gun from inside, and handed it off to a man named Danny Lemos, locally known as Dog, who quickly took the weapon and left on foot. When Sean returned and realized the bag was missing, he became visibly agitated, smashing his phone on the ground before storming out. These troubling claims raised immediate suspicion around everyone involved, including 2 new persons of interest, Kelly DeSoto and Daniel Lemos, both closely associated with Sean and Jennifer based on Josh's statement. Danny Lemos was nowhere to be found at the time, so Detective Turney knew he urgently needed to verify Josh's account by speaking directly with Kelly, and more importantly, find out if she was hiding anything that could help connect the dots in this increasingly tangled case. When investigators first arrived at Kelly's house, she agreed to meet them at the station for an interview, but refused their offer of a ride, saying her boss would bring her in about 30 minutes. However, when the time came, Kelly never showed up at the police station. It was a major red flag, and it made investigators even more suspicious of her. 2 hours later, Detective Turney returned to her house, suspecting that Kelly might be stalling for time or trying to cover something up.
Robert,
Oh, she might be gone. Oh, she's still in.
Detectives?
Hi.
Ready?
She hasn't gotten here yet. So, I talked to my lawyer and he told me that I didn't have to go with you guys.
You don't have to.
What is it about? Can you tell me?
It's about the disappearance of
Of
Matthew Miller and Jennifer. Sean Lyman.
Sean is not missing.
I know he's not.
This time, Kelly's behavior was noticeably different. She appeared distraught, reluctant to cooperate, and quick to mention her lawyer. Detective Turney felt certain that she was withholding crucial information and decided to press harder.
Was Sean here yesterday?
He came out yesterday.
How many times?
Yes.
Well, we just.
He came inside. He told me that he had to go down for Jennifer missing.
Did Sean hide anything in the house that was really taking?
No.
Did he destroy his phone?
Yeah, right here at the back. He destroyed his phone.
Did he bring a bag inside that had a gun
No.
or any of Jennifer's identification cards?
I didn't see
Did he look in it?
No, I didn't see.
Did Danny almost take the gun later? Do you think he did something to Jennifer and Matthew?
I don't see that. He doesn't seem like that type of person.
I think you're lying to me about the bag and the gun and Jennifer's ID.
Oh no, I don't know anything about. Like he asked me, he said, "Where's
You didn't
my?"
bring
Yeah,
anything in.
no, I didn't see him bring anything
So you're forgetting what you're supposed
in. I know. No.
to. Sean had some stuff in your ship.
Yeah, did you when he was murdered? I don't know. He questioned him.
Yesterday?
No, I don't think so.
You went through it?
No.
After some more pressure, Kelly admitted she had several suspicious bags in her shed, supposedly belonging to Sean. Curious about the contents of the bags, detectives quickly followed Kelly to take a closer look.
See, it's pretty suspicious bag. You can just let him put it in there and ask him what it is, or because you know it's suspicious. That's somebody can put something in my garage and now not know what it is.
Don't even ask or nothing.
Not even ask, right?
Why can I get my ice cream open, y'all?
About the contents of the bags, detectives quickly followed Kelly to take a closer look.
Yeah. I clean that box there from not because I don't use it. I'm sure it's not. And that paint can is not his. That's his. That's his. Is he in my house?
Jackson? Do you want it? She let us search that big head to come. And outside too.
Despite their best efforts, detectives found no clear signs of blood or evidence linking back to the missing people. It was a frustrating dead end, and the chances of finding them seemed increasingly slim. At this stage, investigators had narrowed down their focus to several individuals close to the missing trio, each with conflicting stories and questionable behavior that kept detectives on edge. But without hard evidence, options were increasingly running out. Desperate for a breakthrough, Detective Turney secured a search warrant for Sean and Jennifer's former home at 817 Kingman Avenue. Unsure exactly what or who they might encounter, officers cautiously approached the property, prepared for any potential threat. Yet again, investigators were too late. The house had already undergone extensive renovations, carpets removed, drywall stripped, any potential evidence completely erased. Unbeknownst to investigators at the time, the critical evidence they desperately needed was sitting in an abandoned truck, miles away, just waiting to be discovered. For now, though, every possible lead was exhausted, and Detective Turdy knew it was time for a more direct approach. So he called Sean once more, determined to extract something, anything, that could finally lead investigators to the missing trio.
Hello?
Hey, is this Sean?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Sean, this is Detective Turney. How are you doing?
Good, how are you doing today?
Good, man. I've been trying to get a hold of you on other number, and it's not working. So,
No, I apologize. Sorry.
so you know anything new?
No, I haven't heard anything.
Okay. Are you still around town?
No, I'm in Albuquerque.
No, we've made some progress here and there. I've got a bunch of pictures of different vehicles. I'd like you to take a look at, see if you could help me identify them.
Get something more. I wanted to come in and stuff I got to return to the school.
Okay. All right, just make sure the kids are taken care of, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
All right,
Thanks, sir.
we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Thanks.
Sean sounded cooperative and willing to help, promising Detective Turney he would come in for questioning. Yet, Sean never showed up. The next day, Turney even offered to personally pick Sean up and bring him to the station. But once again, Sean failed to appear.
Sean
At this
had
point,
something.
Turney
Sean
felt
ain't
certain
crazy.
Sean was deliberately stalling and knew they couldn't afford to waste any more time. He's done playing cat and mouse. With the CCTV footage and witness statements pointing directly at Sean and Danny as crucial figures, Detective Turney knew he needed to bring them in for questioning. So investigators dug deeper into both men's backgrounds, and that's when they hit the jackpot. Sean had an outstanding warrant for missing a court appearance related to a 2020 assault and battery charge. It was the break they needed. On February 25th, officers located Sean in Albuquerque and arrested him without incident, transporting him directly to the Grants Police Department for questioning. Detective Turney's goals for the interview were simple: determine exactly what Sean knew about the missing trio and find out where Danny Lemos had vanished after taking the alleged gun.
Let's go back to Matthew's truck. Okay, so it starts to back in there, and you're the last one who drove it. Right. So let's go backward from when you parked it. Where did you go with it that day? Do you remember specifically?
The only places I ever traveled was one time to McDonald's. I thought that was the last day we ever used it. And I got Smith's, we got water, food, Walmart, that's it.
Sean's trying to
Is there a
ask.
tracker on the truck? My phone was always on me. Home alone. I'm not going in the mountains. I have children. I don't know how many bodies. Like, I was a medic in the army. Like, I have 3 kids.
Who
I
said you
don't
have
think
any
you're
body?
capable of doing something like this. I think you're very capable of defending yourself, though. An accident happens.
If it was nice, I would be like, it's self-defense. Because self-defense is peaceful, but literally, no. Biggest fear in my house, why the pistol stayed in the house, was had a dog. Like I scares me. I'm not gonna lie about it.
Yeah.
So.
Who told you to park it there?
Justin was there at the house, talking with, like, they're all chewing on the soup.
Who's all there?
Jennifer, Justin, and
Matthew.
And he gets a boatload of pills from him. And they're like, we're gonna go score. I mean, they had no money, nothing.
So you take the truck to the kids.
No, they eat the truck. And literally, I'm like, well, I need to go, like, can I get some fucking groceries or some shit?
Okay.
And literally, I'm like, what do we do with the truck? He's like, well, I'm like, you're leaving the shit here? Like, no. I was like, you're not gonna park it for fun? He just, no, I need to go to the dumpsters, I need to go to McDonald's, Walmart, you know.
And so they told you in the house, when you're done with it, to park it at the Lubbock Apartments.
Matthew wanted to park it down the street. He said, no, my buddy's over there near the apartments. Just leave it there.
As the interview continued, Sean seemed to have an answer for everything, including the CCTV footage, claiming he only moved the truck at Matthew and Justin's request. He also appeared to casually downplay the entire incident, insisting the trio's disappearances were simply part of a drug-related business venture, nothing criminal. But Detective Turney wasn't buying it. He knew Sean's explanation didn't match witness statements, and his earlier actions were too suspicious to ignore. But without solid proof, Turney couldn't directly refute Sean's story. So, to move forward, Detective Turney changed tactics. He decided to deliberately introduce Danny Lemos into the conversation, offering Sean an easy scapegoat. If Sean took the bait, Turney might finally uncover what Sean was hiding, or at least gain insight into what really happened to the missing trio.
Did Danny kill him?
I have no idea. I literally spent most of my time with the kids. If I had to guess who would kill him, it would be the guys that, if I gotta dispose of bodies, I'm gonna put him in my pig, and he showed me the pig one day because I was helping him at his house.
This is no Sean.
I don't have any answers for Matthew. I don't know much about him. Talk to Dog. If someone's gonna move a body and put it somewhere, my guess, the creepy dude that talks about pigs with everything with eyeballs. I'm like, who would know that? Like, this dude's, whatever, I'm scared of dog. So, my kids are scared of dog. I'm scared of dog. I don't know what the fuck I'd be afraid of it. I'm ashamed of it.
It looked like that.
We hid in the house. We didn't go anywhere.
And he looked guilty.
Yeah.
5 hours. I didn't find the look of the other one.
Just as planned, the moment Danny Lemos' name came up, Sean seized the opportunity and implicated him, pointing to Danny's violent nature and even suggesting his ability to dispose of bodies using pigs. Beyond those accusations, however, Sean stuck to his story for the rest of the interview, denying any involvement in the disappearance. Without solid proof against him, detectives had no choice but to end their questioning. Still, Sean wasn't completely free. His outstanding warrant for failure to appear in court meant he'd spend the next 7 days in custody, and officers immediately transported him to the local jail. Investigators spent the following week interviewing acquaintances, re-examining evidence, and piecing together scattered leads. During their interview, one detail caught Detective Turney's attention: the mysterious red Ford truck that was spotted parked outside Sean's residence, later leaving with unknown contents loaded in the back. Investigators had not yet located this truck, and Turney strongly suspected it might hold something crucial to their case. For now, though, 3 people remained missing, and police narrowed their focus to 2 prime suspects: Sean Lannon, who was recorded on surveillance driving Matthew's truck and potentially connected to the missing red truck, and Danny Lemos, who allegedly received a handgun connected to Sean before disappearing himself. With each passing day, Turney grew more convinced that the missing trio had been murdered, and that their 2 prime suspects likely held the answers. But the window to find something conclusive was quickly closing, because on March 3rd, Sean completed his short jail sentence and was released back onto the streets, significantly raising the stakes. Now facing the possibility of losing another prime suspect, Detective Turney knew he had to act fast. All he needed was just one single lead, some hint of where the bodies might be hidden. On March 5th, officers received a call from the security at Albuquerque's Sunport Airport about an abandoned red Ford Ranger, eerily similar to the one from surveillance footage gathered during the investigation. What officers found inside would confirm the gruesome truth they'd been searching for.
Kind of smells, but not like decomposing or anything. I mean, yeah.
We called it in 1:30, but they said they didn't want to send anybody out here.
There's a pretty foul smell coming from the vehicle.
Yeah.
Every so often, I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah, I can't really tell what it was. You already sound like, I can't really think it smelled like decomp. potty or something like that, but I don't know. Yeah, I smell something, but I can't tell what it was. I also smelled it dirty, big yellow off, but yeah, I don't know. We'll check the didn't like this stuff, so.
In the back of the truck were several sealed storage bins, emitting an unmistakable smell of decay. And inside were the dismembered bodies of Jennifer Lannon, Matthew Miller, and Justin Mata. Jennifer had been shot at close range in the head. Justin had also suffered a gunshot wound to the head, along with severe blunt force injuries. And Matthew's body showed clear signs of massive head trauma, evidence he'd also been beaten to death. But the horrors didn't end there. Hidden beneath a tarp in the passenger seat was yet another body. Randall Apostolon, the truck's owner. His body showed signs of severe blunt force trauma, and a bloodied hammer found nearby was clearly the weapon used to kill him. Investigators found more disturbing evidence inside the truck. Multiple serrated knives, stained with dried blood, a handsaw, and several pairs of industrial gloves, all clearly pointing to a calculated, cold-blooded murder. It was still unclear to investigators why Randall had been murdered or how his death was connected to the other three, but they wouldn't have to wait long to find out. Detectives urgently turned to the Albuquerque airport's surveillance cameras, knowing the truck hadn't driven itself there. And it didn't take long before they spotted exactly who they were looking for. On March 3rd, 2021, just 2 days before the gruesome discovery, the airport's cameras captured Sean Lannon driving the truck into the airport parking lot, exiting the vehicle, and leaving behind the bodies of his 4 victims. Finally, detectives found their killer. It was time to track Sean down and bring him in. On the same day the bodies were discovered, police urgently scrambled to track down Sean Lannon, but it was already too late. Sean had slipped out of Albuquerque and vanished. Immediately, the U.S. Marshals issued a nationwide alert believing Sean posed an active threat and was possibly on a violent crime spree. Authorities across multiple states joined the manhunt to track him down before anyone else was harmed.
Well, we all knew he was going to take off.
Right.
We knew
because he already had a guilty, and he already know that they own to him too.
Yeah.
But how can a person like that, like, how can you have kids doing those violent crimes? Which it's a lot of people with kids.
Plenty of people out here, man.
I just don't. Oh my God! Why just do violent crimes like that anyways?
Sick.
Sick for real.
That's crazy.
States joined the manhunt to track him down before anyone else was harmed. Then, on March 9th, Detective Turney received a disturbing call. U.S. Marshals informed him that Sean Lannon was now wanted in connection to another murder. This one committed just a day earlier in New Jersey.
Damn.
Authorities had linked Sean to the murder of Michael Debkowski through witness statements and surveillance footage that placed him directly at the scene.
Sean.
A quick background check also revealed the victim wasn't a random target. Debkowski was someone Sean had personally known for many years. It was an alarming detail that made it clear Sean's violent spree was far from over. Now with 5 bodies discovered and a serial killer on the loose, police knew anyone in Sean Lannon's circle could be next, and they had to act fast. Federal authorities urgently tracked Sean's movements, closely monitoring surveillance footage and cell phone data, and finally, on the morning of March 10th, U.S. Marshals pinpointed Sean's location in St. Louis, Missouri, and they quickly moved in and captured him without incident. Sean Lannon was immediately extradited back to New Jersey, finally putting an end to his killing spree. By now, the evidence against Sean Lannon was overwhelming. Investigators had more than enough to charge him, but there were still critical questions that only Sean could answer. They still needed to understand exactly why he committed these horrific murders and determine whether he acted alone or if others helped him carry out and conceal evidence. When Detective Turney sat down face to face with Sean, he expected more lies and deception, but surprisingly, Sean didn't resist or deny anything. Instead, he resigned to his fate, openly admitting he was tired of running and knew his capture was inevitable. In his own words, he simply wanted it to be over. So, with nothing left to hide, Sean would give detectives exactly what they hoped for. A chilling, detailed account of the murders and the twisted reasons behind each one.
Joe was already out with her. Wasn't enough to take her life. So she wanted to make sure she wanted to, for sure. Because they realized she was breathing. She was going to OD. I went in the other room, psyched myself up, repeating that an emotionally charged statement of, "You killed the Garrison baby." So I had whenever to do it. I put the pistol on her head, and I pulled the trigger. It's like level. A couple seconds later, I was positioned on the bed too. I put the pistol in my mouth. Put the handle up. Just like that, with teeth. I started crying out. I was like, "Why do now?" Full of sugar, kissing on the seat, both of our hands on them. And my lights, so the ground's out again, I didn't trust her. Closed the bedroom door, got the kids normal. Set them up to be in the other room. We have a vehicle. And John's boyfriend, Troy, in the truck, in the car, yeah. So I pretty much slid her inside the to a storage bed. A long one. The sheets that were around her, the bedding was in the bag, in the box. A day later, I tried to dismember her into containers at work. It's awful and traumatic. Just thinking about it. It so haunts me. I knew I was living on borrowed time at that point, so I needed to get my kids so we're safe if I could. So I continued with packing everything up, all the while still mating just enough that. So he's responsible for the drugging and doing that to my kids. So in a week, I came to the house. So I was in the laundry room, connected to the garage. So I killed him. Just before I killed him, he offered up a trade. His phone had pictures of Shawn Michael standing there naked in my living room. I don't know what his name was, William or Matthew. Mully, whatever that his name is. On my son's shoulders. I was like, "Who sent you this picture?" He's like, "Let's get him in the tree." And he's like, "I took the picture." I was like, "Well, you took that picture." And he just missed the guy in the picture. So, I said, "There it is." He was right over the van where Tim was hiding. He wanted to know if he could do a shot before Joe's life. So I said, "Well, if you find any in the vent," so I let the man was stuffing me down in the vent. You can see it coming. So I shot him in the back of the head.
Damn.
Something else for love. He's a pretty tall dude. I had the dismembered at some point, a day or two later. It disgusted me. That's gross. They had to work up the nerves to move his body. So there's so much blood. That's why I had to pull the floor up in that room. I saw a room that was the flooring that was pulled up in the kid's bedroom. The landlord never fixed the water leak. And the carpet got molded. It was unsafe. The carpet was outside the house, and so was the padding if they fell through some reason. It was still there, but it took 2 hours before I had enough the ability to near Justin.
When you got Justin over there, was this shortly after? Like how long between the time that you Jennifer, did you shoot Justin?
It was at least a week. So
Did you get him to come over?
I was being as if I was Jennifer on the phone.
Yeah. So he thought he was to be Jennifer?
Yeah. I also had pictures of Daniel Lemos and my son. I never got my hands on Daniel Lemos. I fully intended. So I was heading back to New Mexico for work. Like yesterday.
You know where Danny is?
If I did, it'd be in the box. So then I had the 3 of them. Probably that kid comes over, William or Matthew or anyways. Comes over with Felicity, his girlfriend. She looked like she was like 12 years old. And I should hurt anyone if I wanted to. So he's like, "They're looking for money for anything." I'm like, "I give you a food card." I was like, "Just take like $40." It's like, all I need is to live here. We give me a ride to get some water. And I've been less drinking on water. So, one of those times he came back, he didn't have Felicity. And that's when I shot him in the back of the head. I had one of his vehicles in Albuquerque. Except when he brought me the box of the film back. Shouldn't have been up, I couldn't fall, it's not much to do. That vehicle, so he should take the truck back, so I found so much food. The box of today's storage containers, I was gonna hold them for $150. He wanted another $300 once we got to his place. Randy wanted another $300 to hold the boxes. So I didn't have $300. So he said, well, I'm gonna drop you back off. So we left, came back to the Pearl. The box was still back. Pulled in right there. We got in the fight. I killed him in the front seat. He was in the driver's seat.
Throughout his confession, Sean remained eerily composed, showing almost no emotions. Even more chilling is the fact that just hours after dismembering the bodies and brutally killing Randall, Sean was picked up by police on an unrelated warrant and sat across from Detective Turney, coldly denying any involvement, while a truck full of bodies was parked just a few blocks away.
So, Tuesday I took I grabbed the truck. I didn't know what to do with it. I don't know anybody. What do you do with the bodies? So I was trying to do with stuff I had going to get caught. I just want my kids back home. So I took them to the airport the day before. And I positioned them. Just everything was the same. Secured the vehicle. That's not obvious. And then took I believe it was an Uber. Took it home. Right to the Pearl. The next day we flew out. I'm waiting on time. Again. So I didn't find the bodies at the airport in the box. And last thing on my list was the man that gave me his job, my big brother. Big brothers, big sisters, whatever. He got two. Wanted the pictures back. He didn't want to give me the pictures, so I started beating him. Then he gave me the pictures. It took his life. So I'm proud of that. I'm proud of it. I did find time to make it back to finish 10 Millennials.
The last victim in Sean's killing spree was his former mentor, Michael Debkowski, a man Sean accused of him during childhood and believed still had photographs of that abuse. When Debkowski refused to hand over those photographs, Sean killed him without hesitation. But just as detectives thought they heard everything from Sean, he would make one final shocking statement. There were even more bodies waiting to be found.
And so the other 11, you said started about 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago? And you disarmed
what?
Years ago?
To be found.
And so the other 11, you said started about 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago? And you disarmed them from guns, and you said nice?
Nice. Whatever. Somebody had like almost like a pickaxe, maybe it's more of a pick. It's all like a pickaxe, but
Like if you had to think back, like how many out of the 11 were shot and how many were stabbed, and think if you can elaborate on any of that.
2 were shot. 2.
And then how many were stabbed?
4, so I summoned another.
The rest of them.
Damn.
So 9.
According to Sean, he'd killed at least 11 additional people, mostly drug dealers tied to Jennifer, and hidden their bodies in remote areas of Malpais National Park. Detectives approached these claims cautiously, knowing Sean was a skilled manipulator who mixed truths with calculated lies. Perhaps this was his last attempt to influence the outcome of his trial later on. But despite extensive searches, no additional bodies were ever discovered, and Sean's claims remained unverified. Detectives also investigated one of the key persons of interest directly implicated by Sean himself, Danny Lemos. He was located in Albuquerque and arrested by U.S. Marshals on March 25, 2021. Danny agreed to speak with Detective Turney, firmly denying any involvement and expressing shock that Sean was even capable of these horrific crimes. He admitted taking the handgun Sean had hidden at Kelly's house, but claimed he had no idea it was tied to a murder and had quickly sold it afterwards. After exhaustive interviews and reviewing all available evidence, detectives eventually cleared Danny, along with all other potential suspects, ultimately concluding Sean acted entirely alone. In October 2022, Sean pleaded guilty to the first-degree murder of Michael Dedkowski in New Jersey. He was sentenced to 35 years in prison, and in May 2024, he pleaded guilty to killing Jennifer Lannon, Justin Mata, Matthew Miller, and Randall Apostolone, receiving 4 consecutive 15-year sentences. As part of his plea agreement, Sean will serve his sentence in New Jersey first, then return to New Mexico to serve an additional 60 years behind bars.
It's over for you, Sean. Damn.
That man was just going on the killing spree.
Yeah, he was going nuts.
Like I said, he was a manipulator, so how do you know if he telling the truth about
you can look at
drug dealers and all kind of stuff like that?
Facial expressions and things, and how he was talking, and how he was acting.
Right.
Yeah, he was into that.
Boy.
Fool, man.
Oh, just imagine who stay in that house that he used to live in, and he killed 3 people in that house. Oh my gosh, you just don't never know you're gonna live in nowadays.
He's crazy. He done picked the floor up and everything.
Yeah, and did something with the carpet and everything. Oh.
You never know. Like we always say, you walk with these people every day.
You walk by every day.
You work with them.
You might be friends with them.
Friends with them. They could be in churches, anything. But hey, man, y'all tapping below how y'all feel about this video right here by Dr. Insanity. What other videos y'all want to interact to? Make sure y'all drop them down below. That's the only way we gonna know, fam. Kickback gang, y'all be safe wherever y'all may be. We catch you on this video.
Catch y'all next one.